the bottom line is like Highrise has had a really hard time growing ever since Basecamp decided to not focus on it. Basecamp back it was like 2014, the beginning of 2014, 37 Signals decided to rename themselves Basecamp. And right then and there, that put a ginormous dent into the Highrise business. All the traffic disappeared for one. Like the 37signals.com website, that brand was a huge driver of traffic for Highrise. There's a huge brand halo to it. But overnight, it was gone. And we're talking thousands and thousands of visitors a month that turned into customers. And now it just disappeared. And then on top of that, people thought we were shutting down. Like, this is even before I was here. There was this dozens of websites cropped up immediately on that announcement of the focus on Basecamp that was like, Highrise is shutting down. Here's what you can do with your customers. Like, come over to our CRM. There was like tons of LinkedIn groups that were saying like, oh, we liked Highrise, but it's shutting down. So there was like, we had like very little traffic to Highrise anymore. We had, this impression that we were shutting down. There was like, it was this really difficult place to market yourself out of, right? It's like, you could do some jobs to be done interviews and figure out like, oh yeah, your customers really look like this. This is the problem they're solving. But you still have to figure out like, how are you going to refresh the traffic here? How are you going to convince people that it's not shutting down? How are you going to like, that's not even a jobs thing anymore. It's like just like a messaging problem, a momentum problem you have. If all your customers heard a rumor that you're shutting down, like you're not going to fix that with like some language on your website. So that was tough. And that was a tough thing that we were fighting the entire time. Like, how do we get new traffic to Highrise if we're not going to get it from, the 37signals.com brand, right? So it's like, that's why you saw me doing so many experiments, like, the YouTube channel and a ton of writing, and all of those things were good. Like, those things just incrementally got better and improved and brought traffic to Highrise, but nothing that was going to overnight or even in a year, even in 2 years, it was going to replace the traffic that came from 37signals.com, that brand. So I don't know, Highrise itself, based on like what happened before I ever showed up, may have gotten itself into become an impossible project for anyone but a large brand to take on. So you know what? I don't know what the future is. Like, this is still like kind of up in the air. It's so I don't know. Yeah, so the bottom line is like, it's tough to turn around a business that it's tough to turn around any business. And like when I'd go into some projects probably with some eyes more wide open, taking on something that has such significant like turn of momentum. Like if you're looking at taking on a project, or you're looking at your own project and you're like, well, this had its heyday at one point, but clearly like the momentum has really turned, and we've let this project like, really stagnate. You know what? But we're going to turn this around now. You got to really think hard about like what's happened there. Is it simply like, are refreshing the product? Do you really think that's going to turn it around? Or have you lost some significant like sources of traffic? Do people think your product, isn't, pales now in comparison to like a bunch of the competition that's cropped up? I don't know.
Right.
Momentum is a big thing that really shouldn't be taken lightly. When stuff gets into a negative, like downward spiral, it's tough. It's tough to like turn this stuff around.